Welcome back to the Gambling Chef Kitchen. I am so excited about today's recipe because I love seafood. And today we are going to actually make a shrimp tostada with a Chipotle crema. It's really, really easy. I promise anybody can do this one. It's healthy and it is also incredibly delicious. So let's get started making our shrimp tostadas. So let's have a little discussion about shrimp. I struggled for a long time trying to get the best, freshest shrimp out there. And it all came down to realizing that every supermarket pretty much in the United States, in a general term, has frozen shrimp. And they have shrimp where they get it just like this in a bag, and then they put it behind the counter and it defrosts. And you have a zero idea how long it's been sitting there. And I've bought some shrimp that turned out really, really funky and just not pleasant at all. So my recommendation to you, and it also is very cost effective, is to buy these big bags of frozen shrimp and keep them in your freezer. And then you can take out what you want. They always have like this Ziploc type of a top. Take out what you want. And then you have the freshest shrimp possible. You know exactly how long it's been defrosting. So that is my best shrimp tip of the day. So the first step is to get your shrimp and put it into a bowl of warm water. And this is how it's going to defrost. And it doesn't take very long, maybe 10, 15 minutes. It's really, really quick if you use warm water. So that's what I've got going in here. A tip about shrimp size, these are actually going to cook up to be fairly small shrimp. These are probably about 35 to 40 shrimp a pound. I'm going to bring back our bag of frozen shrimp so you can see what I'm talking about. So you can see right here, this says jumbo shrimp 21 to 25. And if you see a number like that, that means it's how many shrimp is in a pound. And the bigger the number, the smaller the shrimp. So if it's a small shrimp, you're going to get like 40 shrimp per pound versus these jumbos, which are going to be 21 to 25 shrimp per pound. So while our shrimp is defrosting, we are going to get started on preparing our other ingredients. Let's make our Chipotle crema, which is really the star of the show besides the shrimp, of course, but I love this. I'm totally in love with this recipe. It's so tasty. It tastes good on everything. So if you wanted to make shrimp, fish, pork, beef, chicken, it's good with all of those things. So in this bowl, I have a half cup of sour cream. I'm going to add about a half teaspoon of salt, but this is really salt to taste. This is the zest of one lime. Just a little trick. I zested it onto a paper towel to make it easy to transport for myself. This is the juice from half of a lime. I'm just going to squeeze it right in here. This is the lime that I zested. Always zest before you juice. Otherwise, you're making your life really, really difficult. And I know that from experience because there have been a couple of times that I maybe have done that. The next ingredient is 2 teaspoons of honey. You can see I'm not measuring, but you can measure the first time you do it. You can adjust this to taste however you want. You don't have to always go by my guidelines. Use it as a blueprint and then you get to improvise and make something your own. Last ingredient, and the most important one, is Chipotle in adobo. And this is the brand that I like to buy here. And Chipotle peppers are actually a smoked jalapeno that is ripe. That's why they're red. So what I'm going to do is take my tablespoon and go like into the adobo sauce here, and I'm going to get out 2 tablespoons. Now what you can do is you can actually take out one of the chipotles from the can. Let me show that to you really quick actually. So you can see these have these whole chipotles in here besides just the sauce. I'll put a little extra in there. So if you want a different heat level, you can add a little bit more of the adobo sauce, or you can chop up one of the chipotles and put that in. And then I'm just going to mix this up. I just wanted to show you, my sour cream was a little bit chunky today. Not chunky, but it wouldn't blend. So I got my whisk involved because that got out any of the lumps. So that is a good trick for you. Back with my spoon, and This is one of those things where you can decide how thick or thin you want this to be. This is looking a little bit thick to me. What I actually did is I'm gonna add about a tablespoon. I took my tablespoon from the Chipotles, and that's a good way to get all of the ingredients out of your measuring spoons. All right, let's finish mixing that up. This should be a nice, again, you don't want this too thick. If it sits in the refrigerator for a while, it is going to get thicker. So you might have to add more water to it at that point, or more lime juice. And then I definitely encourage you to taste this for seasoning. I'm gonna just stick my finger in because I'm at home. Whew, it's got a kick to it, it's delicious. And I might add a little bit more salt, but other than that, we're gonna let that sit, and we are going to chop our cabbage. Here's a nice head of purple cabbage. It's kind of on the smaller side, but really I'm just cooking for myself today, so I don't need a lot. And normally with cabbage, you're going to cut it down the middle. It's a little bit tough because of the core in there. And if you're gonna chop this entire thing, you're gonna wanna take that core out. That's what this piece is right here that goes in a little arch. So you would just take your knife and cut around that. Because I'm just cooking for myself today, I'm just gonna cheat and use a little bit, and I'm not even gonna go to the core. So I'm getting my knife held properly here, and I'm just starting at the top, and I'm gonna go really thin with my cuts here. So I got a nice thin cabbage slaw to work with. So I'm not gonna do lots of this. I'm just gonna do a little bit to add to my tostadas, but I would say, depending on how many people you're feeding, one of these small cabbages, you could probably chop up the whole thing for 4 people. But if it's one of those mega cabbages, maybe just chop up 2/3 of it or so. And we're gonna set this aside, and we're gonna peel our shrimp. Peeling shrimp is pretty easy, but it takes, a little bit of practice. And I'm gonna show you the way that I do it, which I think is pretty easy. So these shrimp in a bag come deveined already. They cut this down the middle and take out it's really the digestive tract, if you wanna know, which makes it a lot easier to peel. If you have whole shrimp that aren't deveined yet, the easiest way to peel them is really to start off by pulling off the little legs down here, and then you can easily peel back the rest of the shell. And once you get to the tail, I kind of go all the way down like this, and I try to get as much of the tail as I can. So I pull it off like that, and then I have my whole shrimp. I'll do one more for you so you can see again. So here's my shrimp, pulling off the legs. Then I'm going to get in here, slide the shell off. And again, these are much easier to peel than shrimp that haven't been deveined yet, but follow the basic same procedure. And then I peel back to the tail, leave that loose, and pull off that end there. So we've got our beautiful shrimp. Now, if you have the kind that hasn't been deveined, then you're gonna wanna take a knife under some running water, and you're gonna cut very gently down the back, and you're gonna clean out this digestive tract. There's a little bit of a piece left in this one, if you can see that. Once you're done peeling them, to run them under water and then pat them dry, because we don't wanna cook wet shrimp. They're not gonna get a nice color on them. So let's go to the stove and let's go cook our shrimp. In my old cast iron pan here, I have some butter melting, and it's just starting to turn brown. So I am going to put my shrimp in here, and you're gonna see how small these guys get. I did rinse these off and I patted them dry. And these are not gonna take very long. I have a couple tablespoons of melted butter in here because I like that flavor with this, but you absolutely could use vegetable oil. I wouldn't use olive oil for this. I don't feel that that flavor is very authentically Mexican, so that would not be my first choice. And into this pan, I am going to sprinkle some beautiful ground cumin. Now, this is the part where you can kind of decide how much or how little seasoning you want. I also think today I'm gonna add just a little bit of onion powder. And last, I'm gonna add just a little bit of cayenne pepper. I love spicy, but spicy unfortunately does not love me. So I think these are done already on the first side. You can kind of see they'll become a little bit opaque. You won't be able to see through them anymore. So I'm gonna turn them over to the best of my ability. You could also just stir until you think that they're turned over properly. A lot of times I'll just do this honestly with my fingers. But the goal is to get them cooked through, but we don't want them totally decimated. And I'm turning my heat off because I can tell already that these are basically done. So heat is off. Just gonna give them a final stir. Now I've heard people say, oh, if the shrimp curl up like this, they're overcooked. Trust me, you can see by looking at these, they are definitely not overcooked. They are just very small shrimp. So these small guys like this curl up a lot more readily than some of the bigger shrimp. But these are ready, and I'm gonna set these aside. We're gonna build our tostadas. How easy is this whole recipe? It's easy, and it's really, really delicious. I'm super excited to show this to you. One more thing, which I just realized I forgot, is to sprinkle these guys with a little bit of salt. And it's always good to taste. I actually tasted it and I was like, oh, I forgot to put the salt in. So taste everything. Okay, now we're good. Now we're gonna build our tostadas. Let's build our tostada. I am so excited. Now, I am not much of a brand pusher, but I'm definitely going to give props to this brand. So here are my tostada shells. These are so good. They are better than any tortilla chip that I've tried. They don't have any garbage in them. And they come in these nice smaller packs of 10. This only has 9 in it because I ate one already, which is, I am warning you, that is a problem with these. These are perfect, beautiful tostada shells. I love this brand, Los Pericos. Thank you guys for making such incredible, incredible tostada shells. And also darn you, because I want to eat them all out of the package. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of the Chipotle Crema down here on the bottom. Just a little, because I have our layer of cabbage next, and I have actually tossed the cabbage in some of the Chipotle Crema. That's optional. You can either leave it plain or you could toss it in a little bit of oil and some lime juice and then have that be your base. Next, I've got the shrimp. You can use as many or as few of the shrimp as you want. I'm going to pack this really nice because I'm going to take photographs of it, and I'm hungry because it's lunchtime right now. So, all right, good amount of shrimp. Next, I have some pico de gallo that I made. This recipe is going to be on my website as a bonus recipe, but you're welcome to use any type of salsa that you want. I just really like to make my own pico. A few pieces of fresh avocado on top. Another little drizzle of our Chipotle Crema. And finally, my favorite cheese, one of my very, very favorite cheeses, a sprinkling of queso fresco right on the top. All right, I'm gonna finish getting this cleaned up, take some pictures, and then we're gonna taste together. All right, let's eat. I'm gonna use my hands because it's a tostada, so why wouldn't I? Got some fresh lime here on the top. Do a little squeeze. Delicious. And I like to go in, pretend it like it's like a mountain of nachos. Got some of all the ingredients that I can pile on my little chip here. It's so good. It's super, super fresh. And you've got the crunch, you've got the spice, you've got the shrimp. I mean, everything is just exquisite. That Chipotle Crema, I'm telling you right now, is so good with the shrimp and all the other ingredients. I hope that you try this. This recipe and all of my recipes are available on thegamblingchef.com. Please be sure to like my videos, subscribe to me on YouTube, and sign up for notifications so you can find out when I release videos and when I go live. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at The Gambling Chef. I will see you guys soon.